Yo, it's me, CSCOTT baby, and welcome back to part 3 of the Star Wars Retrospective. And now we talk about the original trilogy. Right, Chuck. This is the one on which I'm most knowledgeable. This is the one I grew up with. So, weirdly enough, I don't really know how to start this. So, the original Star Wars, as it was called, no New Hope, no Episode 1, or no Episode 4, just Star Wars as it was released back in 1977. I thought this would be the easiest to talk about, but I can't figure out a starting point here. I'll explain. I grew up with this, okay? So, they used to play these on the USA Network all the time when I was growing up. My grandma actually recorded them onto a videotape, and I would watch them, the original versions. It wasn't until the 90s came out that they started having the special editions. And I think, out of all three of these, this had the least, you can't go by the sequel trilogy as having any alterations done, although 20 years from now they may do alterations. Who knows? They've even altered stuff now for the Disney Plus versions. I haven't watched it, but I know about McClunky. Apparently now, before Han shoots Greedo, he says, McClunky. Don't know what that means, but then he shoots him. McClunky. He shoots him and then Han shoots him back. I don't know. Han shot first. Okay? Han shot first. Everyone knows that. Han shot first. Okay? So, yeah, they had the alterations done for the... Some of them I do understand where they want to, because Jabba was originally supposed to be in A New Hope. But they took him out. For one reason or another, maybe, I don't know, it held them up, which it did. It held them up on getting out of there. And then they introduced us to Jabba. And Jabba was originally supposed to be human-like. And when they put the scene back in, they had to use CGI to put him in. So when you watch the special edition New Hope with CGI Jabba, and then you go from that, and then you watch until Return of the Jedi, and he's just a puppet thing. It's confusing. Also, another alteration, which is in Empire Strikes Back, which I think has the least done to it, is the Empire. And I think the biggest one is the Emperor, because originally the Emperor was a woman in prosthetics with someone doing a voiceover. Well, then Ian McDiarmid was cast to portray the Emperor in Return of the Jedi, and then he also portrayed the character in the prequels. So they went in while they were in the middle of episode 3, and they shot the scene over with McDiarmid doing the scene as Palpatine and edited it in there. So now everything you saw before is now McDiarmid, not the other female actress doing the character. They also went through, and now every time that Boba Fett talks, they have dubbed over the original actor with Tamara Morrison, who played the role of Jango Fett in episode 2. Because now it's supposed to be an adult version, all grown up like that, so it's his voice, so they've dubbed over with that. Which is one with, I understand. And they don't do that with the Stormtroopers, though. And reason is, I think, by this time, you could say that because by the time you get to the sequels, they have a different way of getting their Stormtroopers, apparently. And you can say they started here, maybe. I think the one most thing that people will say, continuity-wise, is the Luke and Leia brother-sister situation. Because clearly, I was watching New Hope earlier, side by side with the Mandalorian, of course. But, like, clearly she wasn't supposed to be his sister. Clearly. Like, she kisses him right there on the lips, and he's all... And sure, when you're a kid growing up and you don't understand, you're like, ooh. Now you're an adult and you know, you do understand. It's, that's your sister, man. It's like Euro Trip. You made out with your sister, man. Someone needs to do an edit where they show that scene and edit that from Euro Trip. And it's just, clearly there wasn't the way it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be someone else that's supposed to show up in Jedi, I think, but they just wrote it to be Leia. And it comes out of nowhere. They're like, oh, there is another. And he's like, Leia is my sister. And it's just like, and he's like, somehow I've always known. He or her, one of them says somehow they've always known. And it's like, then why did you kiss him? That doesn't make any sense. And even when Han finds out, right? Like, she's like, he's my brother. And he just kind of accepts it. He doesn't, like, wait, but you kissed him. He doesn't, You mean, that would have been funny. She's like, he's my brother. And he'd be like, your brother? But you kissed him. Just a little... That's a totally Han Solo thing he would do. But it don't. And yes, there's like continuity problems because like originally Darth Vader wasn't his father either. That's another one. Originally Darth Vader was going to be the one that killed Anakin Skywalker, not be Anakin Skywalker, and they changed it. And it was a good twist. And you can, they tried to explain this. The man we knew, man who was your father ceased to exist as soon as Darth Vader. Oh, dang. The way I can connect it, having seen the prequel trilogy, is the moment he got burnt up by the lava is when Anakin Skywalker died. And then they put him in that suit. That's when Darth Vader was born. Despite the fact that he anoints him Darth Vader earlier in the film, it's when he gets all burnt up and put in the suit, that's when Anakin dies and Darth Vader is born. That, to me, is when it happens. And I agree with Obi-Wan. It's because that Anakin turned to the dark side that killed Anakin Skywalker. He forced it upon himself. He fought off. He fought Obi-Wan instead of embracing him like he should have. He was supposed to bring balance, not... He was supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. He's supposed to bring balance, not disrupt it. And he chose to go, So the moment he became Darth Vader, the moment Darth Vader was born, Anakin Skywalker died. So in a way, Darth Vader did kill Anakin Skywalker. Although technically he was Obi-Wan, but still. Now, I remember when I first watched A New Hope, or Star Wars, whatever. And Obi-Wan's death, where he just disappears. Back then, it was like, what? Now, you understand it's the Force. He's, It's basically like they explained in Stargate. He basically ascended, right? Ascension. He's a Force ghost now. That's what that is. And then it happens to Yoda too, where he just kind of evaporates in Return of the Jedi. We'll get to Return of the Jedi, but now most people point out that the best Star Wars movie is The Empire Strikes Back. It's a good one, but I rank movies on how much I enjoy them, and Empire Strikes Back is like the most serious of the original trilogy, which is why it's, for me, the lowest rated of the trilogy. I like to have fun with my movies. There are certain things in there that, in Empire Strikes Back, most of the time it's played very seriously. But you have A New Hope that has that that kind of space adventure feel, and Luke Skywalker is leaving a moisture farm where he didn't want to be, and he's out there and he's having adventures in the galaxy, and he's fighting in the next wing, and he's fighting, and he gets that first shot. When he gets that first shot, I got one. Great kid, now don't get cocky. That, it's an excitement, And then you get to Return of the Jedi, and you get the Ewoks, and you get all this, it's fun. Admittedly, the Jabba Palace bit goes on a little bit too long. But, yeah. Because my feeling towards that is, if Luke is such a powerful Jedi, why didn't he just use his powers to break in, heal him, we're gone. Peace out, bitches. Just use the Force, go in, get Han, get out, boom, 5-10 minutes. Oh, we get like a half hour of stuff in Jabba's palace, maybe more, maybe half hour to 45 minutes. All the film was wasted on Jabba's palace. You got the droids going in. And then you have the inflation demands. They don't listen. Then you have the rescue of Han, and he's blind for some reason. Chewie is arrested, and then Han is there, and then Luke shows up, and then they're gonna be thrown into the ring. He fights the Rancor, and then they're gonna be thrown into the other thing. And it's just so much going on. When all Luke had to do was just go and show his Jedi power, because there's a narrative where they don't believe he's a Jedi. All I had to do was walk in and show that he has Jedi, lift people around, move them around, push things around, show that he has true Jedi power, and then say, I'm taking Han. Walk out. Peace out, bitches. Yeah, I guess I'm taking that from Supernatural, but still, that's all you have to do. Intimidation to Jabba. Did Jabba have to die? After building up Jabba for 2 movies prior to this, and him going out like a bitch, just like Boba Fett did, wasn't much, And then, okay, we can get this started. And then Yoda dies. 900 years you'd be. Yoda dies. The best character from Empire Strikes Back. Oh, we love Yoda. Yoda probably sold a bunch of toys. And George Lucas is like, oh, let's kill him off. He probably didn't sound like that. He probably in his 40s. Oh, let's kill him off. Yes, it holds weight for Luke, as that kind of pushes him to go forward, and he finds out about his sister and stuff like that. But I don't know. And I guess that, that pushes him forward a little bit to do what he does. And he's just so okay, so that's another thing I'll talk about. Luke, no, I am your father, which is what it really is. Not Luke, I'm your father. It's, no, Obi-Wan told me you killed him. No, I am your father. That's the line. No, I am your father. Not Luke, I am your father. It's, no, I am your father. That's the line. Powerful line, which he does not believe. No, it's not true. It's impossible. Search your feelings. You know this to be true. So he searched his feelings, and now he just believes it. Because when he's on that little ship, when he gets saved, he's laying there, and Vader's like, Luke. And he's like, Father. I'm like, that was quick. I was like, no, it's impossible. Father. It was like, okay, he's accepted it. Acceptance. 7 stages of grief? No, thank you. You just go straight to acceptance, I guess. No. He denied it there for a second, and then he accepted it. And I guess with a Jedi, that's the start of him becoming a Jedi. It's like searching his feelings and then just accepting it, It's true. So I guess that works, but yeah. The droids, R2D2, like it's explained. I didn't mention this in my review of the prequels, but it's explained that they erased C-3PO's memory, right? So that's why he doesn't remember. But R2 clearly remembers everything. Why doesn't Obi-Wan acknowledge... these movies were made before that. But R2 is very prominent in the prequels working with the Jedi, right? Especially in Episode 3. So why doesn't Obi-Wan acknowledge him? Like, is he lying to Luke when he says, I don't recall ever owning a droid? Does his old age catch up with them and he just doesn't remember? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Jawas I always think are pretty cool. And so I mentioned this in my prequel talk about how Anakin or Darth Vader should have been the first place that he checked for Luke would have been the Lars moisture farm. And it wasn't. He didn't even look for his children, his child, whatever. But it takes the droids they're searching for to lead them to the moisture farm. Luke's not even there. Can you imagine if it went differently? If Luke was there and they asked him, who are you? It was, I'm Luke Skywalker. And, wait, that name sounds familiar. Hold on, we have to report this. Sir, we have someone here who claims to be Luke Skywalker. We have someone here claiming to be a Skywalker. And now, at this point, maybe George Lucas would think about doing something like that. Because at this point, he wasn't supposed to be Luke Skywalker's father, but he still could have done it. Like, wait a minute, the son of Skywalker. Like, even if he was supposed to be the one that killed, especially version that he was just supposed to be the man that killed Anakin Skywalker, then yeah. Now I said that'd be a good exchange if they did that. Whether or not they retconned it to be his actual father, irrelevant. And it would be irrelevant, just kind of like if it had that scene. You have someone here claiming to be a Skywalker. That could have perked his ears up, The Emperor is mentioned in A New Hope, and then more so in Empire Strikes Back, and then, of course, you get Trilogy. Yes, she has an appearance. And for the most part, I think he's the only villain besides Darth Vader in the original that doesn't really go out like a bitch. I mean, he gets thrown over, but he's still using his powers. And he's used very, very well. And he gets thrown over the thing, but yeah, I think he goes out the best in the original trilogy. It appears to villains. Even Tarkin goes kind of out on a whimper when it just explodes, and he said, "Oh no," And yeah, I remember when the sequel trilogy got done. They're like, "Oh, he's supposed to bring balance to the Force. He's the chosen one." I'm like, "Yeah, but Luke ends up doing it." And I remember my mom looked at me going, "No," or my grandma or someone looked at me and went, "No, he didn't." I'm like Luke defeated the Empire. They're like, the rebels defeated the Empire, but who defeated the Emperor? I'm like, Luke. And there's like, Scott, who killed the Emperor? I'm like, Darth Vader. So it took me a while to kind of figure that out. Like, he did defeat the Emperor. He did. And you could say that the sequels kind of ruined that ending, because you get that happy ending with all of them standing there and they see the Force ghosts. And yes, I'm going to talk about this. Much like inserting the Emperor, inserting Ian McDiarmid into the Empire Strikes Back, they inserted they inserted Hayden Christensen from episode 3 into the Force Ghost. So now the actor, who was it? David Prowse was the stuntman. What was the name of the... Sebastian Shaw. So now Sebastian Shaw only has one scene in that film, and that's when he takes the helmet off. When they take the helmet off and he talks to his son. That's the only scene that Sebastian Shaw has. And so then they have, we gotta have him young. Sure, but if that's the case, then why didn't you have Ewan McGregor replace Obi-Wan? Because that's not what Luke remembers him looking like. Well, I thought that Luke would remember his dad looking like he did in his 20s. I'm just saying, it makes no sense. You know? I know they're Force ghosts. But Luke seeing his father the way he was before he died makes sense. Having him show up as, kind of cool as it was. Oh, they changed it. He looks like he did there. Replacing Hayden Christensen. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense as to why Luke would seem... I know it's Force Ghost, but if Luke saw a Force Ghost or a younger version of his dad, to which he's seen no pictures of, he'd be like, who's the guy with the shaggy hair? That's your father. What? He was a burnt-ass bald guy next time I saw him. Even he just looks and... he looks and he smiles, and it doesn't make any sense how he would recognize his father at such a young age. Just... And it is the question. Because as we find out in the sequels, Leia is in tune with the Force. Did she see them too and not say anything? Or what? Who knows what that... I always like that happy moment. So that's why I like the original, A New Hope. Because the ending, I think, is the best in the entire trilogy. Yes, you get the happy ending there. And yes, you get that sort of dark, bleak ending in The Empire Strikes Back. And I hate that ending. Because if you don't know from my reviews, I hate downer endings in movies. I hate it. When a movie ends with just the worst of endings, where our heroes, they didn't win. They didn't win at all. Like, Han's been taken, and then you have Lando, who I haven't got to yet, but Lando's one of my favorite characters. He's now in the Millennium Falcon with Chewie. I think it's Chewie. He's in there, Millennium Falcon or something. He's going to take off and do something, find Han or something. And you have Luke getting a new hand, which looks more realistic than the one his dad had in the prequels. And it just ends. And it's like, it's such a dark ending. And to me, it's the worst ending of the original trilogy. And I'm sorry if there's people who love Empire Strikes Back. But that's why it ranks so low. It's number 3 on my ranking. So it's high up there. I love the original trilogy. They're in the top 3. But that ending puts it at 3 for me. Because it's the worst ending. It's the darkest ending. And I don't like it. You get Return of the Jedi, my second favorite ending, where they're all celebrating. They got the dancing going on. They see the Force Ghost. It's great. It's a happy ending. But the most satisfying ending is A New Hope to me. Because they've destroyed the Death Star. They've done what they set out to do. It's one continuous mission. Destroy the Death Star. They did that. And now they're getting their rewards. And so you get that, they're celebrating. And then you get that dun, 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 dun. And then dun 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 dun, and you get them walking down there as it's playing. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Quiet down the music. They get their medals. Chewie doesn't, but we'll get there. dun 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 dun, dun music, and they smile, and then camera turns. Dun, 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 and it goes out with a bang. Like they won, they got the award. They need one. Yeah, to me that's the best ending. I love that ending. Even when it's on TV, I like to watch movies without sound on. Even if I watch movies without sound on, I missed it because I was doing a review for the prequel trilogy at the time. But just that ending, yes, that ending, I love it. I even thought about doing ranking the Star Wars endings, but you guys already know what I would pick number one. Guys, what else can I say? This is one of the most beloved trilogies ever made. It's the original Star Wars will go down as one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made. I don't care if you guys say, oh no, that's Empire Strikes Back. To me, my opinion, A New Hope is better. I'm just saying. But yeah, guys, what else can I talk about? There's so much I could talk about. There's so much grand scale, scope George Lucas did with the original trilogy is something that he has not been able to replicate since, which is why after the prequel trilogy failed to do that, he didn't want to do it anymore. But then along came Disney. He said, you know what? You don't want to do it? We'll do it. And that'll be the subject of my next video. So, what are your thoughts on the original Star Wars trilogy? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Scotty. Like, share, and subscribe. And may the Force be with you.